Que lo que mi gente, what is good, my people? It's your boy, the one and only Cha Cha Charlie. And you're watching and listening to CCP Podcasting. And when everything's all said and done, we will be celebrating and dancing all night long. It's Cha Cha time.
What is happening, friends of CCP Podcasting? Welcome back to Beyond the Bell. I am Chris Page. I am being joined by my man Todrick Taylor Ramsey and Mr. Ramsey. Boy, howdy, do we not have a good one today?
I cannot put into words how excited I am to be here, how excited I am about the guests that we have, because, well, by now the world knows my enthusiasm for women's wrestling, and I think the entire world saw me lose my voice when it was come time for WrestleMania because I get that into it. Um, and knowing that one of my favorite wrestlers got their start in Glow makes this so much special, so much more special to me. So I'm just over the moon. That's all I can say.
Well, we're not gonna waste a whole lot of time. We're gonna try and jump right in. And how we've got our guest today is really interesting and a fun story in its own right. Our platform is independent wrestling. We watch a lot of independent wrestling, but every now and then we feel like we gotta decompress and we gotta watch some stuff, some nostalgialistic stuff. And we came across Glow, the original series from the '80s, on YouTube, and we started filming some reaction videos. A super fan of Glow, Mr. James, stumbled across our stuff, and it led into this great little conversation that he and I had, and it got us to where we are today. And without James, I don't think that this would be possible right now. So we appreciate you, number one, sir. Our guest today, the very first assignee to Glow, back back in the day, and I cannot wait. She's got a new book out right now. She's been acting, she's been stunt working, she does so much stuff, guys. Welcome to Beyond the Bell, Hollywood, Miss Jeanne Basone. How's it going?
I am good, and I'm just as thrilled as both of you to be here. And like you said earlier, if it wasn't for James Mayer, I don't know if he told you, but he got a hold of me a long, long time ago, right when the internet was coming out. And he said, "Didn't you get my emails?" I go, "I think so." But we're talking about a long, long time ago. And
Yeah.
then we did a cruise. We did this cruise, and James came on the cruise. And I met him before the cruise, obviously, as a friend that lives out here in Nashville. And so every time he comes, I always take time to make sure that we can go to breakfast or lunch or dinner or whatever. He's always busy too because he's moving around. So our schedules, we always try to see if I always see him no matter what. I mean, he'd have to schedule it and I wouldn't be in town not to see him. But he's a sweetheart. So thank you, James. We
Yeah,
love you. Thank you for
absolutely.
this connection because making new friends and new contacts like this is always so good. It's a good thing.
It's gonna be a
Positive.
blast. Toddy, would you like to say hello to our guest today?
Sorry, Toddy.
Oh no, I am just so thrilled to meet you, so thrilled to sit down with you, because like I said, I am a women's wrestling enthusiast and Glow opened so many doors, and to have the ability to talk to you and you be a pioneer, without women like yourself, we wouldn't have a lot of the things that we have today. So I just thank you so much, and I'm so happy to talk to you.
Aw, you are so kind. You know, you and I are almost neighbors. So that means when I go down to Georgia, we have to like say hello and meet up. I would love that. And Chris, you too. I'll come down there to the
Absolutely.
Panhandle or wherever you are down there.
I am.
In that sunshine state.
You just say the word, and we will be there, no
Yeah,
doubt.
because I travel so much. If
Yeah,
I can do it, I will.
you're all over the place,
Absolutely.
even now. Which I mean, obviously,
Yes.
coming off of WrestleMania weekend, you were dealing
Oh,
with WrestleCon. We'll get into some of that here in a little bit.
okay.
Let's
Yeah.
start at the beginning because Glow, I mean, the project itself, how do you come across that? How does that work out for you guys? Because it was obviously it wasn't one of those things that at the time people didn't appreciate. It has become such a cult classic and such a thing as the years have progressed. What does that look like when they're casting for Glow, and how do you go
Right.
about looking into to trying to you know
To do something. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. How does one get into it? And first of all, I always say being in the right place at the right time. Okay, that's number one. Living in Los Angeles, California, if I hadn't have met some kids that we went to school with later on, they were doing extra work. They were trying to be actors. They started doing just the background work. And they said, they're looking for background people. Do you want to? I go, what is that? So I got with the agency. I mean, this is how it starts
Yeah.
organically. First of all, I'm working in medical. I didn't want to work in the medical field and work 8 to 5. That's so boring. Blah. Boring, boring. And so here I am, about 20 years old, and my friends said, get with this agency. So I got with that agency. And I did that extra work. I'm like, wow, this was cool. We're
Mhm.
outdoors. We're walking through the camera. We're getting fed for free. We get paid for this. And I thought, wow, that's kind of cool. So I wanted to do it again. And my boss wouldn't let me. He goes, Wood, do you want to be an actress or do you want to have a real job? And he kind of sounded like a father, right? This father, and I was like, okay, I want my job. Then I don't know what it was, a couple of months later, maybe 3 months down the line. I think we had machines, everybody, answering machines or pagers, right? I think.
Yep.
And I checked my machine and it was the agency and they said, hey, we have an audition for a sports show. And I was
Mhm.
like, sports show? What? I know all kinds of sports. This is going to be super easy. And the one thing that was cool about it was after work. It wasn't during work, so I didn't have to ask permission. Can I leave to do this audition? I am born and raised in Southern California, and I was working in Burbank. So the audition was in West Hollywood, California. I'm like, cool. It was the Hyatt Hotel down on Sunset Boulevard. I knew exactly where it was. I hightailed it down there, and there were so many girls. I was so nervous. They're all holding pictures and resumes, and I'm nervous. And they're telling us, David McLean was the first person that was up there telling us about this show. And when he told us that this sports show was women's wrestling, I was like, uh-oh. And then I saw girls pick up and leave and they walked away. And I'm like, oh my God, what does that mean? What does it mean that they're leaving and getting up? Now I'm more nervous. But, when you're young, you're fearless, right?
Yeah.
You are. You're
Mhm.
like, yeah, I can do this. All right. So fast forward to the it wouldn't be an auditions training. Now, to be fair and to be honest, I had a boyfriend who he was in music and he wanted to be an actor and he was not quite sure that I should do it. And I'm trying to talk nice of him, but he was very jealous and he didn't want me to do it. So I kind of just let it slip by. And then our roommate, because God forbid we had to have roommates to pay our rent. And if you're an actor or, you had roommates. So his roommate, Rick, goes, Jeannie, how did that audition go? And I go, nah, I'm not going to do it. And he looked at me. He goes, why? I go, Dave doesn't want me to do it. He goes, are you serious? He goes, you're going to let Dave tell you what to do? He goes, what if this show Glow becomes something? And he goes, you'll always resent this. And I go, you're right. So I called the number right away. Somebody answered and said, yes, we're still doing training. I went down to training, you guys, and trainings were Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. They were after work, so my boss didn't have to know anything. But let me tell you, when you're working 8 to 5 and then 7 to 10, and you're learning how to fall and do all
Mm-hmm.
these. Oh my! And it's only at that point when you are 20 and 21 years old, you're young, you can handle it, but you're still like, oh, my shoulders are sore. I'm beat to death. I was just beat up because you're learning. You're learning.
Yep.
You don't do this when you're in the medical field. I'm drawing blood, by the way, so I'm a phlebotomist. So I'm drawing people's blood. Okay, that's queasy enough or creepy as it is sometimes if you're a vampire. So you guys, I will tell you that every time I went back to practice or training, there were less and less girls. So they're weeding out everybody. What they did tell us is we need 12 of you to do a pilot. 12, that's it. Out of all these people coming in, going out, new faces, I am noticing that I'm one of the ones that has still made this, what do you call it, round robin, whatever you want to call it, deal. And then our trainer, which was Mondo Guerrero.
Fantastic name.
Mondo was the trainer for these for all of the interviews or training sessions, and then our pilot. So Mondo asked one day, he looked at all the girls in the ring and goes, which one of you can ram your head into the turnbuckle and land on your back? Jeannie raised her hand first, but first of all, I'm not a dummy, and I'm very street smart, so I knew right away when they said which, my hand was up. I mean, I knew that if I just knew that if you're going to try to secure your job, you better give first, be on time, be early, actually. Raise your hand first, do it, and give not 100%, but you give 110%. You give whatever that you can so you stand out. And I will always say that to young kids. I'm like, if I was judging, that's what I know what I did. And obviously we didn't have these. This would be distractions, you guys. We didn't have this at all. Okay, so I rose my hand first and I thought, oh my God, how am I going to do this? I'm going to break my neck, but oh well, I'm fearless. I did not break my neck. I did it. David McLean was always there, watching us every night. And he told me years later, Hollywood, he goes, this is how you secured your position. When Mondo said, who can do this? You raised your hand first. You did it. He said, and in my mind, you are the first Glow Girl hired. And that was the beginning of the pilot. We shot the pilot in Las Vegas in 1985 at the Riviera Hotel. We took that pilot to, back then it was called, well, it's still called NAPI, Nashville Association of TV Programming Entertainment. It's where all the shows go and the buyers are there to see what they're going to put on for programming. So here's our little tiny booth, with just myself that was there. They asked myself, Matilda the Hun, Tammy Jones, and Americana. Those were the 4 girls out of the 12 that they asked to come down to New Orleans and pitch the show. We pitched it, you guys, and a month later, they called me and said, our show got picked up. You're moving to Vegas. I'm like, yes! And I gave my 4-week notice to our boss and said, see ya. And I never went back to a job like that again, ever. I've always been in wrestling. So I know that was a long explanation, but I know we have time, so.
No, it's fantastic. And I know that you probably have told that story before, but for
I have.
us,
People know what it is.
it's the first time hearing it for our, I mean, it is good.
Exactly, and
It's
for
good to get,
maybe some of your guests.
absolutely, frame of reference is everything. And when I think back on it, and I think back on the cast of Glow, and truly, what we call our name of the show is Glow. ... It never disappoints because
Because people go, oh my God, that show, I remember. Or if they're young, they're like, what? Oh, this is from Netflix?
It never disappoints. And we
Good.
have gotten to a spot where literally we'll watch several episodes on a stream, and we don't stop until one of us is crying. Like we laugh so hard we're crying. literally grown men
That's so.
laughing.
I need to be on one of those with you guys.
You are more than welcome at any point in time. You just say the word, and
Oh
we'll
yeah,
make
we'll
that
come on
happen.
and do that. Okay,
Eh,
let's try to set that up.
we sure will. Shoot, that would be fantastic.
That way
Um,
we can all three laugh together.
I was just saying, it will be. You don't threaten
Yeah,
me with a good time.
because I know the inside. Since I did the pilot in all 4 seasons, I must tell
Yeah,
everybody, doing the pilot and staying there for 4 seasons and seeing all these women come and go and people who got injured. I was there.
I
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I was definitely the fly on the wall. I could tell you. I don't tell everything, but I could tell you a lot.
no, yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Same as
Toddy,
the book.
come around to you, Toddy, with some glow stuff. What's on your mind? The floor is yours, sir.
So you moved to Las Vegas and now you have this new opportunity. What was the adjustment like for you moving from California to Vegas? Because
Oh yeah.
that's huge to me.
Yeah, that is huge because I don't think I'd lived anywhere else before that. I've always lived close to home, where my friends
Mhm.
are, where my job is, where my boyfriend is. But I was excited because it's not that far. It's 3.5, 4 hours by car
Mhm.
and 35, 45 minutes in the air from Burbank over. So I'm like, oh, I can do this. This is going to be great. And plus, I had traveled a little bit before, but not a lot. And my mother always told us kids, I have two sisters younger. She goes, girls, if you can, she said, try and travel and see the world. And she goes, I didn't get to do that so much because I had you kids at 19 and 20. She was young. And me and your
Mhm.
father didn't get to do a lot of, I mean, we got to do stuff, but not a lot of things. So she said, make
Right.
sure you're able to travel. And I thought this job is gonna offer that as well. So being there, Vegas is great. You know what I mean? Just light sparkling everywhere, and to see glow up on the marquee of the Riviera Hotel was, we didn't pinch ourselves then. I don't know if we did that kind of thing, like, oh, this is real. You're
Mhm.
this young kid and you're just going for it, going, yes. And we did not have egos, I can tell you that, because we never got to see ourselves on television. Our director made sure that Glow did not air in Vegas. He said no, he didn't
Oh.
want us. Seriously, all girls will tell you they did not want us to have big heads, and I get that. You've got a bunch of girls together. It's hard enough as it is to put a group of women together. There's jealousy. There's people talking behind your back. I'm better than you. I'm this. I'm that. You got to be tough, first of all. That's a whole nother thing. You have to be able to take it, and especially if you're playing
Mhm.
a heel like
Yes.
myself, because you're not always going to win. And 9 times out of 10 back then, heels did not win. But it got to
Mhm.
a point, Toddy, where they wanted heels to win. And finally, I remember when I would lose, they would boo. They'd raise the hand for someone and they'd boo them, and then I take over the spotlight. I do
Mhm.
this, and they'd be like, ah. So I kind of played off the crowd again. That was just me, and I did so many uh spontaneity type of things. I didn't want girls to know everything that I was going to present to
Mhm.
them, because being surprised is just, you can't, like this conversation, it's very organic and things happen. The cat might be running through here, or just, I will let you know that all of the matches that we did do, we always knew our outcome. Okay. We had to write down all the matches, write them down. And I think because we didn't have a ton of training, they didn't want people getting hurt. So they really wanted us to know what was going to happen. Plus, we had 4 cameras, and we would need the camera people to come in on our dress rehearsals and know that a bottle's going to be broken here, or Hollywood's going to be thrown into the pillar, or Hollywood's going to throw the other girl into the pillar. The pillar's going to break. I mean, they needed to know all of that. So that was Fridays. Fridays was always dress rehearsal. Now, to make things different, on Saturday, I would get there very early and I would hide all kinds of stuff under the ring Yeah,
Mhm.
man. It's just like I don't want people to know I'm going to throw a cup of water on their face. I don't want people to know that I'm asking the cameraman to bring a wire and put it down and put a piece of tape in like neon orange to pick up so I could throw it around their neck. And so that was what I always did. And so that's what I'm talking about. If you really want to stand out, you got to do those extra things. It's just, and I got into my character once I was comfortable
Mhm.
because the pilot was scary. And I know you probably, that first pilot, and it was against Tina Ferrari and Ashley Cartier, who in my mind already were superstars. They're girls that were cheerleaders. I think they cheered for I don't know what it was called. There was another team back, Express maybe. Was there something? I don't know.
It was
There
something
was
like
another.
that. Yeah.
There was another team beside Raiders and the Rams, but they were cheerleaders, so they were already used to performing. I've never been in front of a camera or an audience, so I'm freaking out. I'm trying to remember in my mind my matches, and I'll never forget. And Tina did the same thing. Bless her heart. She is a star. She was always a star. Um, Lisa Moretti, who was also uh, Ivory in
That's
WWF,
that's
right?
that's
Okay,
that's
so in my
that's
mind, she was
Toddy's
always a
all time.
superstar.
That's I don't mean to step on you. That's Toddy's all
Is
time
that your
favorite.
girl?
Yes,
That's my
from
girl.
yeah.
She's the reason
Nice.
why I started watching wrestling.
That's right. So when I say to me, she was already a star. So she comes over, you guys. Remember, we're writing our stuff down. She came over and slapped me so hard. You can see in my face that I'm like, well, fuck you. Is this how it's going to happen? Is this how it's going down? So I learned from her that spontaneity is such the look on someone's face when they are not expecting a rope around their neck, a
Mhm.
cord, sorry, or I then I incorporated the audience. You have to. So starting out, I couldn't look at them in their eyes. I was too nervous, but when I finally figured out who the character Hollywood is, who is she? Is she good? She's bad? Okay, so what does she do? You know what I mean? So I started
Mhm.
incorporating outfits, hair,
Yes.
makeup. So, Toddy, did you notice? I don't know if you both noticed. You'll see some matches with me, and I have different outfits on. Did you
Mhm.
notice that?
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. How about Heavy Metal Sisters? They didn't. How about
You're
anybody
correct.
else had the same? They all did.
Yep.
Farmer's Daughters had the same damn shorts and the same color top.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Trendsetter.
Boring, boring. So what I
Mhm.
would do again, I would go to Hollywood and I'd go to these like stripper stores. Playmates, I think, was one on Hollywood Boulevard. They had the high shoes and these sexy outfits. So I would go in and buy Vine and I go, I'll wear the zebra stripe and you can wear the leopard.
Mhm.
Or I'm going to wear the silver corset and you're going to wear the blue one. So I would just buy it and then I would not ask wardrobe. I would not ask anyone, can we wear this? Because you know what? They would have said no. So we would
Right.
just come out. So that is why I have different outfits. See, again, got to think outside the box to be different
Yes.
and stand out. Mhm.
Trendsetter right there. That's what that is. That
I
is.
guess you know what helped you guys. It's the '80s, and I love my '80s music. I'm watching all the girls on those Motley Crue videos and Scorpions videos, and I'm getting my ideas from them. I'm like, oh, that's sexy. I think Hollywood
Mhm.
and Vine can do that. So yeah,
Did you guys think that as you were filming this back in the late 80s and into the 90s, did you guys think that this was going to be something that would be looked at? We're
or
4 almost
overlooked. You mean?
oh, I'm talking about looked at
Mm.
now. Like it was overlooked at the
Oh, I
time.
had
I'm talking
no
about
idea. Nope.
four
No.
decades now, and this thing is still running strong. And just to
And
to
if you
be
all
a
just do the math, because he just told you 4 decades, and how old did I say I started?
Nope, nope, we're not going
How
back
old
there.
was I?
Nope, nope, we're not doing that. No, you're not getting
It's
me on
all
that
good.
one.
I don't care. But you know what? It's just a
But
number,
it's
right?
it's it's unreal that you guys are a part of history. This is legitimate history
Right.
from day one, and to be the first official Glow Girl. or glow woman is what I would want to call.
Yeah,
Glow wrestler, but
I never thought of that, Chris. We did our job. I kind of didn't know that we were popular until we were on the East Coast, and we were going through the airport. Oh boy, now somebody says Hollywood. I was just like, oh my God, they watched the show. And everybody knew Mountain Fiji.
mhm.
Fiji's tall woman, 350 pounds, seeing her walk by, people knew right away who Mountain Fiji was, and Matilda the Hun. And so Vi and I were lucky because we got to be her second. So we had more matches to do because we were helping Matilda. And if you watch the show, if we're able to watch season 1 and 2, those are my favorite seasons, you guys, and I'll tell you why. I feel it's more organic, but we got away with a lot, and you will never be able to get away with that today. I'm dropping
Okay.
F-bombs, you guys, on the very first promo we cut. You're not, and I asked them, you're going to get interviewed. This is when we did the pilot in Vegas. And he said, I go, well, what do I say? He goes, say whatever you want. I go, anything I want? And he said, anything. And I'm like, okay, here it goes. We're going to kick their beep, beep ass. And that was the pilot. We think they're sluts. I didn't know what to say.
Well,
So
you're learning as you go here. This is the epitome of baptism by fire.
there you go.
You
That's
guys
it.
trained for a handful of months before you started filming. That's it. That's all you had.
That's it.
But I started training to be a professional wrestler in 1999. I trained for a year. Even I started taking
Right.
matches in '99, but I still
Right.
trained regularly
But you trained and you
for
learned, and
yes, for 14 to 16 months. You
that is
know,
so important, Chris.
it it,
Chris,
it is. And
I
you
can't
mentioned
reiterate that enough.
well, you mentioned
Yeah.
earlier about not only on top of having your job, you're also going and taking bumps at night. And I don't
Yeah,
want to overlook that because that is something that unless you've been in the ring or you've been through training, you don't understand what that does to your
you don't
body.
know.
I can sympathize with you. My first day of training, we ran ropes. I went
Yeah,
home with bruises across my back. It looked like I've been hit with a
yeah,
kendo stick repeatedly. So like unless you've been there, you don't know. So not only that, you have a handful of months to learn what you can learn. And to be
right.
perfectly fair,
That's
that
it.
ain't it's not a lot. And then you're put on
Oh
national
no.
television. Like
Thank you. And you have no idea because I didn't know the history of wrestling, Chris.
yeah, it stacks up. It's here. Now it's here. Now it's here. Uh, it, I can only imagine the pressures that all of you felt at that point in time. Uh,
Nervous, so nervous, and then trying to figure out who's my character again. Who am I?
uh,
What does
y-
a bad girl do? What
it,
are we allowed to say and do?
and have no real guidance because again it's
No.
you're flying by the seat of your pants. And it's funny that you say that the first two seasons are your favorite, and true enough, there's a lot of really good moments in those seasons. It's very very interesting, and you're right, you can't get away with some of that today.
Hell
As
no.
the seasons progress though, the wrestling got really good. It's gotten better
So
than
you thought it got better?
I from what I've seen. Now keep in mind I'm only 16 episodes in season 2 at this point. And it's gotten
Oh well,
it's
then
and
no, 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 no. Then you can't say that.
I've seen some
Then
sporadic
so
stuff.
okay, so
Well,
yes and no, but
I
a
think
lot of I'll
so
talk to a lot of pros as well. Go ahead, Toddy. What?
I think the problem is, and this
I'll
is
tell
where
you what the
James is
problem
so
was.
critical, that people on the internet, they clip stuff together, so we never get
Ah,
to see it in
that's
continuous order.
yes, correct.
So for us, it looks like the tape will say season 2 episode. So to us, it looks like, oh wow, she did this move. She's never done that before. So it looks like, but
Yeah,
that's not the case. And that's why James is so critical because he's helping us out
Oh yeah, yeah,
with
yeah.
yeah,
that.
for sure.
Oh yeah. And James will let you know because he knows he has them all on tape. So he can tell you on the season. So I will tell you that Mondo was fired after the pilot. Gone.
Oh,
Okay, who's going to train the girls? So
right.
now David McLean hires Princess Jasmine, who has passed away, and she was training or was a wrestler somewhere in Indiana, where he's from, and she was very good, but she wasn't like Mondo Guerrero, someone like that. And Mondo did tell me, and I'll back up here. When I had Mondo at, I asked him to please come to one of the Comic Cons, the Los Angeles Comic Con. I wanted him there and to answer questions for people. He said when he was asked to train us, they asked a lot of people, a lot of pro trainers. He was one of the only ones that wanted to do it. He said everyone made fun of him. Everyone was making fun. You're going to try and train these girls don't have any experience. He did a damn good job for what he could do in the 2 months. All right. So back to the training. Now we have new girls. So we've lost him. So we've got Princess Jasmine training us and some new girls that are coming in at that time. And then we had the Killer Tomato, Debbie Peltier, who was very good. She helped me with my drop kicks. And boy, she looked like a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. She was built. Oh, I was so intimidated because she was so smart. She knew her shit and she was very street smart. So I'm like, I hope I don't have to wrestle her. She's going to kill me. But she started training as well.
Mhm.
So then once she left and Princess Jasmine left, the girls are training the girls, and there's no more training. There's no more pro training. So I couldn't learn anymore because new girls are coming in and they're doing the basics, right, Chris? Running the ropes, learning how to take a forward fall, back, 3/4. So what I had to do to learn more was to watch the pros on television. And that's not training. So when I saw a flying head scissor, I go, I'm going to learn it. I'm going to put it on one of the girls, whoever's going to take it. And so we didn't get the training after that. Had we gotten 14 months of training, you would have seen, if you're watching pieces of it, yes, okay, that snapmare looked good and that drop kick looked great, but we needed more. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
That we should have had. That's how it went. Girls were training girls and they were not pros. They
No.
were, yeah.
And I'm sure as we dig
But
deeper
thank you for
into,
saying how good that, and there were some girls that were really good. Look at Lisa. Look at Tina.
yeah, there's
Because I
And
some,
she
think we're
left. She
at the
was gone.
point, yeah, we're at that point now where we're starting to see what you were talking about, where like some of the heels are coming over. Because I think the very first time that we saw it, Palestina was in the ring,
Oh
and it
yeah.
was so shocking because the fans 100% hated her. And then I looked at Chris during the broadcast and said, "Are they cheering her? Like,
Uh-huh.
what is happening right now?"
Yes.
yeah,
They are and being on tour, so we could go straight to tour. Going on tour is the best because when you got kids crimping your hair and wearing the same necklace you're wearing, and holding up signs for you, even if you're a bad guy or a heel or a baby face, it's so rewarding.
Mhm.
The kids and the fans are the best, but I'd always be the last one on the bus. I wanted to always get to that last person, and when they would pull me away and you're seeing kids cry, I hated that. We got to go, Hollywood, we got to go. And I'm like, no, but we're not done. And another interesting thing is I'd see a couple of guys in the front row and they're like booing me. So I'm doing my job, obviously, but you know what? They were the first two up for an autograph. I'd look at them. We need an autograph, Holly. And I'd go, I saw you two. You were booing me. They're like, yes, but we love you.
it it's fantastic. I mean,
It
truly,
really
you
is.
make
And
connections in the stuff that you don't even realize at the time
no,
that years later. And think about it from that fan's perspective. That's something that they are going to carry forever and not forget it because it.
and they do, because you'll
Yeah.
have some come up at these conventions. Some might have a photo. This was the photo you took with me. And I'm just like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
It is.
Yeah. And then
It,
we had the magazines, the Glow magazines. Those were fun.
oh, our running joke on that is we can never get past an episode with the Glow magazine advert without the same magazine cover in every advert.
Yep.
So we
Right.
we we, we just start saying, okay, it's the same episode, it's the same edition, same magazine that you're reading over and over again.
Oh
Uh,
gosh. We did. I think there was only 6.
there
Okay.
was.
There's only 6. And you know what? I had no idea until my grandmother passed that she had all 6 issues of those magazines. Thought that was pretty cool.
Think
They
about
are,
collectors
I
of
have
that
them
stuff.
too. I have them. And if you look on eBay, they're
yeah.
expensive.
Yeah.
I was
Well, don't
talking to
get rid of
James
them.
about
Don't
that.
sell them, you guys. Yeah.
As you're coming up with Glow and 4 seasons in, there has to be a lot of interesting stories. And I know some of them are going to be, or maybe all of them are going to be in the book for Hooray for Hollywood. And I'm hoping that this one maybe you'll give us a little bit of insight on before we start shifting into talking a little bit about the book and a little bit about
Uh-huh.
your acting and odds and ends. You were the first one in the door, and you were there for the duration, and had the opportunity to see so many people come and go, and so many talented women come and go. Who are some of your favorites to hang out with? What kind of stories do you have of maybe off camera, just chilling in Vegas? And I'll have a follow up, and I think I'll let Toddy ask the follow up because he probably knows where that's going.
Okay. Well, it was in the era of kayfabe. Remember? Do you know what?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Sure.
So
Mm-hmm.
we're not allowed to hang out with the baby faces, and we had to carry that through the restaurants and everywhere. So I would say the first and second season for me was always with Vine. We were always hanging out together. Maybe the Heavy Metal Sisters. We do our laundry together. I have pictures in that book of them doing their laundry somewhere on Maryland Way in Vegas without their makeup on. It's like Kiss
Mm-hmm.
unmasked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
And they're in here as well. So we all hung out like that. But then when I got to season 3 and 4, and none of those girls came back, I had a slew of new girls
Mm-hmm.
to befriend. And so Godiva and I, since we love the same music and went to the same clubs, we were like this. Her and I hung out together. MTV and I hung out together. But then there was a baby face, Lightning, who lived like in my neighborhood in California. Her husband was a drummer, so we all liked the same music. So we'd go to the same clubs in Hollywood or the same rock clubs on tour. We always used to hit the hard rock cafes back then.
mm-hmm.
Hard rock was cool, and I always wanted a hard rock cafe that said Dallas or freaking, Hawaii or wherever, Birmingham, wherever they were at. So I
Mm-hmm.
would collect those all the time. Um, However, I got a lot of them in trouble. If you hung out with Hollywood, you were going to get docked pay because I hated people telling us no when we had our mind set on what we're going to do. And then you put a wrench in there and tell us no. So I have one good, funny story. It's also in the book. We were in San Diego. I think this is season 3 or 4. So we're down in San Diego. And before we left Vegas, I told the girls on the plane, it was Daisy, Godiva, myself, Stinky. I told those 4, let's go down to Tijuana when we get to San Diego. I said, I need to get these silver tips for my boots because it's very rock and roll. So I
Mm-hmm.
thought, well, let's go get silver tips for my leather black boots. All right. And so we had to go to, I don't know, we had a meeting in San Diego, and our director, Matt Simber, told everybody at the end of the meeting, and he looked at me, he goes, Hollywood, I don't want anyone going to Tijuana. And I'm thinking, okay. I'm like, okay, fine. And the meeting ended. So I looked at the girls, like, oh, come on, let's go. We can't go. Daisy goes. Matt told us no. I'm like, okay, you guys, we were on the plane and we decided that we were going to go before he told us no. So we're going. And that's all I said. And we went. We got in so much trouble.
Well,
I didn't get in trouble, but they did. So
how does
we did. We
how?
took that little train. There's this little train that goes down to TJ. Went down to TJ, got my tips for the boots, got a Hard Rock Cafe shirt from where at Tijuana that said
Yeah.
on it,
Hmm.
and I had it in a bag. So the other three girls went back to the hotel, but Hollywood took a little detour. We were invited to a submarine. There were some Navy guys on our little train, and they said, "You guys want a tour?" I go, "I want a tour." The other
Yeah.
ones were scared. They left. So I took off and I went on this little tour, came back on the train. So I'm the last one coming in, and here comes Daisy. They know where we went. I go, "Oh my God." I go, "How do they know? Did you guys tell?" And here comes Johnny C. He was our producer slash MC, and I had a bag that said freaking Hard Rock, and he grabbed it out of my hand. Look, they went to TJ. Oh, those girls got docked money. I got a talking to, but I didn't lose it. So if you hung out with me, you were gonna get in trouble.
on the on the flip side of that, like who were some of the ladies that maybe you didn't necessarily get along with,
Uh,
or
Um, First of all, when you're young like that, you get along with everyone, but you know which ones you do and don't. The ones I didn't name. If I
there you
didn't
go.
name you, is that a good question? If I didn't name you, then we obviously didn't click.
Yeah, you're a baby
Sorry.
face. Yeah,
And it's really difficult because being up doing a pilot, season one and season two, and now we have all these new girls, and they know Hollywood already, and there's a little bit
Hmm.
they're scared. And I'm one person that will always be kind and nice to everyone. I will always give you the benefit of the doubt. If you did something, who knows, long ago, and you said, "You know what? I screwed up, and I am really sorry." Done. And vice versa. If
mm.
I ever did anything, oh, I saw. Oh, well, I was mad at the farmer's daughter. I kicked her, and she didn't like it, but she deserved it. We were in Hawaii. We were out in Hawaii, and she was getting ready to pin Daisy, and I'm trying to pull her off, and she wouldn't let me pull her off. I had to fight her. She was supposed to, I mean, she could give a little bit, but then, so I went, boom, and I kicked her, and oh my God, I didn't hear the last of it. Once that match was over, she's screaming at the director, "Hollywood kicked me." And you gained so much freaking weight, couldn't pull your weight off of her. Oh, ugly. It's true. I hadn't seen her for a while, and she blew up a little bit. So I just went, "Well, you gained so much weight, I couldn't get your fat ass off of her."
I love it.
And these are the truth. There was no exaggerating any of it. It happened just the way I said it to you. So there was, you got along with some kids, some of the girls, and you got along. You didn't get along with the others. So
Yeah, I mean,
it
such as
worked for
life.
a heel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't need to be liked by people.
No,
That's not my job.
that's not my job. Not my job, man.
That's not my job. Toddy, go ahead. Let me come around to you.
So I want to talk about, uh, I think we've gotten a lot of the glow, and I learned so much because I've seen the other stories that some of the girls have told, but um, that's what I love about these organic conversations.
Right. They come out the way they come out.
Yeah.
Yes. So you've done this, and you said, I want to be an actress. And I think it's interesting because you did a lot of your own stunts and different things like that. What was
Yeah.
that like for you?
So first of all, if you can hit the ground as hard as all those girls did, you can be a stunt woman. Pounding the ground. You too, Chris. Man, you could be right in there too,
Mm-hmm.
because you can hit the ground so hard. And plus, we're actors anyway.
Yeah.
So right then and there, and that is good money. And I got into that. Well, I didn't make a lot of money because I was like, this is a lot of work. Do I want to do this? Do I have to hustle the set? Because to get a gig back then, you had to go to a set, give that coordinator your picture and resume, and then do you have enough skills to do what they want? If you're just a girl that's gonna um, I worked on so yeah, so what that's like is it's great and it's good money. It's union usually. and you get residuals. Now, had my smarts, kicked in, but no, the other part of me going, oh, I would like to have a relationship with somebody. I want to go out and party. I'm in my 20s, 30s.
Right.
I don't I don't want to be responsible anymore. I
It,
don't want to come home at midnight.
Yeah.
I don't want any of this stuff. So Cheryl Lightning Russa was getting into it. Now Cheryl's only 4'9.5". She's a little thing. So she
Hmm.
was doubling children and she was working a lot. She didn't have a lot of competition. For me being 5'7" and my weight, actresses, there was a lot more competition. So I didn't get all the gigs. I would have to do a specialty, and wrestling was one of those, or falling hard. So I loved it. I should have stayed in it more. The last thing that I did was here in Nashville. Nicole Kidman obviously lives in Tennessee, and she was doing I think it's either Hulu or Amazon Prime, and the movie is called, and I watched it a couple weeks ago. It's called Holland, Michigan. And
hmm.
they needed stunt drivers. Now, not that I'm this crazy stunt driver, but you have utility stunts. And utility means I need you to drive the car through the scene, or when Nicole is dropping off her child at school, you're going to be a mom and you're in the car and you're dropping off kids, as long as you're safe. And so, I saw the car that I was in, and that's
Yeah.
the cool thing about stunts is, you're in the background. You don't have to be. That was me. Being behind the camera is very interesting, and I wish again that someone would have said, "Hey, you should start directing some of these shows," and I would have loved to direct Glow. And I talked to
Yeah.
my director about it. He said, gosh, he goes, it's never too late. You can still start doing stuff like that. I go, it's not
Mhm.
actually. So being behind the camera is just as rewarding as being in front. It's more fun to be in front of it. But as we get older, we may not want to be in front of the camera anymore. And you know what? I want to say something, Toddy, going back to Glow. The one thing that made Glow different than, say, what the bigger ones, WWE, is the diversity of women. We had
Yes.
small, big, different color, and it was such a great show. Not everyone looks the same.
Hmm.
And that is why I think Glow has always stood out more than what we see today. We're not a cookie
Yes.
cutter of the same girl.
It's a groundbreaking television show for
We were out
professional
before we
wrestlers.
should have been. What do you think? I think we
I
were just
I do
in a
too. I mean,
place.
I think that was something that could have continued on. Now, keep
Me
in
too.
mind, you talk about growing up. I didn't become an adult until I was 32. So I tell
Right.
people all the time, I've been an adult for, a little over a decade.
Yeah.
So I was that would have been early 90s, I think, is when it canceled out,
Yeah.
or they didn't
Yes.
renew it.
Very early 90s. Yeah.
It could
90.
have. I mean, you guys saw 1994 professional wrestling. All it was Doink the Clowns and
All right.
Duke the Dumpster
Hmm.
Droces and
Right.
Repo Man and Bastion
Yeah.
Booger. You're telling me that Glow doesn't have a place if that's what you're putting on prime time?
I
That
know. But I
answers
I
your own
know.
question, right? Like this is no doubt about it. And I truly think that if the if the powers that be, I think there's a market for it now.
There is.
I totally
Hmm.
do, and I
Come to
totally th
part two of this. Yeah.
yeah. There's a
So
market for
there
this.
is a market for it. If David McClain can do Wow, which I went to a couple of tapings to check it out. It's very, very Glow. Exactly. Um, they always, I would say, more competition. Yeah, and I have a great. I'm not going to say it here, but I've been working on it for 4 years, but we have to do it right. He
Yes.
says it has to be done right. So that's money. I'm not going to do
Hmm.
this
Right.
cheesy ass thing that no one has experience and we're going to go on it has to be done big. And
Right.
also, I also will have, and that's one thing that other girls won't have, but I will be able to secure the trademark.
Yeah.
So at this point, it's like she's done it all. but really has she? Because now I want to talk about this right here. Um, you you really have. You've done it all, and now you're going to go and be an author. What made you decide, I want to write a book about this? I want to share my story. And what was it like as you were going through the process of writing this?
It was the hardest thing to do because I hate to read. Let's just tell you that. I like reading biographies, but when I was a kid, I loved reading. And then I just got to that point where I'm like, I don't like reading. I want to go out. I want to
Mhm.
party with my friends. I mean, that was my scene. My scene was going out and having a good
Mhm.
time. But what I had done when Glow had ended, I thought, wow, what a trip that I just took. I need to write some of this down. So I started writing it down after Glow, and I still have that paperwork. And it's a good thing that I did write that down because even though you remember, but do you remember the details? Oh, it was PSA Airlines. It was this. Oh, I was wearing this. So details. I remembered,
Mhm.
not the details. All right. So I wrote all that stuff down and I just said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. And, sometimes you get lazy and you're like, I'm going to put this down. It is the hardest thing. This is blood, sweat, and tears and a lot of long hours. This is over 10 years. And when you finally put it all together and go, oh my God, these are my words. This is what happened. I just, and then I went through, and you'll see in the beginning, if you saw the beginning, I have kind of the roller coaster ride trying to get it published. Do I go a traditional publisher, or do I
Mhm.
finally say screw it and I'm going to just self-publish myself? And one thing about self-publishing, Jericho did it on his last books. The first ones, he had that, but he was like, I like this so much better. Doing self-publishing, you get to have the cover you want. You can say what you want in it. You can have how many pages you want. You have so much freedom and you can have a good looking book. You put time and energy into it. Take your time. Do not rush. Also, do not have too many people helping you with editing. It's a nightmare. If you got three people going, oh, I'll do it, Hollywood, I'll do it, I'll do it. And then all of a sudden you go back and say, I just changed that. What happened? A Mac computer compared to a regular, a Dell. That will
Mhm.
screw up sometimes the wording. I'm like, this word is supposed to be spelled like that. No. And then there's
Yeah.
autocorrect. Oh God, it's
Mm-hmm.
a nightmare. So you need two people in the editing. And then I'm like, oh crap, do I have to read this? Not that I don't want to read it all over, but it takes time to
Mhm.
read the book. And I will say you can read it, but if you're looking for errors, you need to read it out loud because your eyes will go over it.
Yeah.
And then putting the photos in, which was pretty easy because everything that I talked about, the photos, like on part one, I decided too that I would do a little due diligence and look at other people's books. So I looked at Paris Hilton's book at the time. I looked at Prince Harry's book at the time. I looked at Obama's book at the time. I'm like, how are they doing these things? I was just looking to see which ones on the stands were standing out. And those are the ones I picked immediately. They had their faces on it. Okay. Their
Mm-hmm.
faces were on it. It stuck out. So then I started reading, and you know what they all did? They had their subchapters, but they had part one and the subchapters, part two, the chapters three. I'm like, that is what I'm going to do in case some people don't want to know how Jeannie grew up and where she grew up and how she came to become, this adult. Then you go to part
Mhm.
two, the audition for Glow, and then all the pictures, everything that I say in here will relate to the photos that are in the book. And that was the fun part, putting the photos in. I thought it was going to be a nightmare, but I knew photos help. You have your photos from when you're a kid. You're like, oh yeah, that was when I made my first communion. Oh, this is
Mhm.
when I stole that gum from the liquor store and had to give it back. Oh God, you got
Mine,
and
mine was
so
mine was a pack of cigarettes.
of course it was.
Mine was a pack of
Were you a
cigarettes.
heel too? Are you a heel?
Oh, you're damn right I was.
I
That
knew
that
you
was not
were.
a never
I
could.
know.
I could never be a baby face.
Me either.
I tried, and it just didn't work for me.
And
And it
Toddy, how about you? You probably be a baby face.
It's
or
crazy
heel?
because I have that side to me that can be heelish, but I have to get pointed in it. So no matter where I go, everybody's like, "Oh, you're so nice," and I'm
You
like,
are.
"I am,"
But that's
but
why you would be a
sometimes,
good heel, like me. We're
yes,
kind,
He's a
because you
we're
get to have
nice.
fun.
he's a sneaky little bastard. That's what he is.
Oh yeah. Oh, see, you'd be like Hollywood. That's
Yes.
great.
I
Yeah, so I did mine in parts like that. That way, if you're not interested in part one, you can go to part two and read all about Glow. And then in part three, you can I talk about everything I did after the show was over. Like I decided too, I'm like, what am I going to call? I didn't want to call it Afterglow because there was some girls that have Afterglow, and I'm like, okay, that I don't want to use that word. And I thought, well, how did I feel when it was over? I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do now? So I named it WTF. So that is exactly. I was just like, now
Mhm.
what do I do? Seriously. And then you'll see all the stuff I did after. It was independent wrestling. That's when the stunt work came through and a little bit of acting here and there. The audition that was during Glow. The audition for Married with Children. That's
yeah,
great. I
yeah.
love
Yes.
it. Just,
I mean, you talk about putting that's a at that time that is
that was
one
a
of the
huge show.
marquee shows in America. So,
Mhm.
I mean, chat me up a little bit about that real quick.
I
How does
love,
that come
love,
about,
love.
and what was it
So
like
so
on set
during
there?
Glow, yeah, so during Glow, when we did Nappy and we were in New Orleans, this one might have been in Houston. So Married with Children is at that convention. They're trying to get another season, which they did like 10, I think.
Yeah,
So our
Mhm.
director said, Hollywood, let's go over and meet the Married with Children executive producers. I didn't know so basically that was our interview and I didn't know. So we went over there, said hello to both of them. And then like a couple of months later, I have an audition for Married with Children through Glow. So it was the farmer's daughter, which was Ursula, the third farmer's daughter. Both and I went down there. And I noticed that there was only us two. When you do an audition, there's usually 20 other girls that look just like you. All right. I noticed it was just her and I. We went into the office. I met the two executive producers that we met at Nappy. And then as I look through the room, all the writers are there. So now it's more nerve wracking because they want us to read our lines. Hollywood, you read your line first, Ursula second. We read them, switched them, we read them. He goes, we'll go back to the first. Okay, girls, we'll see you Monday morning at 9:30. That was it. We had our gig like that. So I didn't want to be too overconfident. Thank you, thank you. Nice to meet you. Her and I go into the bathroom and we're like, yes! We were the only ones. They wanted us anyway.
it's still that's the number one show. Like that.
Totally.
Oh my God, the '80s and into the early '90s. Such a
I
great
know.
time for
It's a
music
great time to
television.
be alive, kids. I got
It
to tell you.
was. It
Yeah.
was.
Mhm.
Well, let's one more question on my side, and then I'll
Yeah.
throw it over to you, Toddy, and you
Sure.
can ask away. I'm really interested because again, the legacy that Glow left, and again, it wasn't. It should have been around way longer than 4 seasons, but
Right.
you did get the opportunity, along with Vine, to win the Glow Tag Team Championships.
Yes, that
So
belt that we never got.
yeah, well, you got these.
But I have a belt. Look, 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 look. Look. Here's one of them.
Yes,
Oh, I love that.
Look.
I
custom
And
love
it's
that.
made.
heavy. It's this is not cheap. This is
Uh-uh.
it's made pretty well. It might not be as big, I mean it's
That's a
pretty big.
that's a what a
Look.
five. Is that a five plater? That is a five plate.
This one's 4. I think it's 4. I think this is a 4 millimeter plate.
Oh, I was talking about like a
Yeah.
number of plates on it. Three,
Oh
two on the
yeah.
side, one in the center.
This
Yeah,
is
that's a that,
5.
yeah, five plater. Yeah,
This is
yeah, that
5.
looks
Yeah, I thought you meant
gorgeous.
the plate, the
No,
millimeters
no,
on it.
no.
It's
That is
heavy.
that is a fantastic looking belt.
It is. You know what? I bought a bunch of these. I got a good deal on them. And then I did a raffle. I also sold them and I did a raffle for $25. And we raffled off here live in front of everyone. And somebody in New York had won it. So it was very cool to raffle. For
Mhm.
$25, that's pretty good to get one of these autographed.
Heck yeah,
Yes.
Yes, what a deal.
that's fantastic.
Yeah, totally. Yes. So life has been, the road has been, I'm very blessed. I'm just very grateful because the opportunity that I have had, and it's all because of Glow. So yeah, I always have to. I just, when things are, you're having a bad day, and you're thinking, oh, I'm sick, or I feel this or that, or or you just think about what others do not have, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think about it. That's why I always try to say in a lot of my videos, be kind. It's so important. It's so nice. It's so easy to smile and be nice than have a crappy face and talk behind someone back and call them this or that. They may deserve it, but bullying, that's in this book. There's a chapter in here that's so important and dear to my heart because when I was a kid, I was bullied. I had braces and I had curly hair, and the best looking boy, popular boy in seventh and eighth grade liked me. I don't know, and I got made fun of. Oh, Jeannie, he doesn't like you. Dream on. And you know what? Him and I dated all the way to 12th grade, and then I went, see ya, get out of here.
Love
No,
it.
he wasn't very nice. He turned into not a nice person. And that's another thing. You have to be strong. Don't ever be in a relationship that is toxic.
Yes.
Anyone hitting you, calling you names, pushing you. That's just my dad. He didn't know what was going on. I said, Dad, we're going to break up. That's up with you kids these days. You never give it a chance. I go, Dad, if I told you everything, you would be on my side why I'm leaving. And I said, I don't want to tell you. I didn't want to throw him under the bus. That's just another thing. That's
Mm.
me. It was just better for me to say we're breaking up because it wasn't what you would want from me. And a lot of women stay in those relationships. I have friends that have done it, and they're free. That don't do it. It's not right. You have a say. You can put your foot down. And the 80s in this book, things happened in the 80s. It was the 80s. Chris, you guys know what I'm talking about. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yes.
getting hit on. All you have to do is say no. And I thought I was going to lose my job. I had tears in my eyes, and I said, I didn't come here to do this. I came to wrestle. So if you don't want me for this, then I'm going home. And I thought, oh shit. But I know what it feels like here. If it feels wrong, it's wrong. And you can say no.
Mhm.
And you know what? I'm still around and I feel good and I'm positive. And if I can, you know, help somebody else with a situation that they're going through, I always will. Young kids don't want to listen to older people because I didn't, but it's very important because our elders always know. They just do.
Toddy, we'll come around to you.
I think good things happen to good people.
Mm.
And with you, just from sitting down talking to you, it's genuine. Like a lot of people, have to force themselves to be nice. And I don't get that sense from you at all. I feel like that's genuinely who you are as a person. So it's like the universe is like, this is so awesome. I could totally listen to you for hours because all of the
Oh,
books
you're
that you
so
named,
cute.
it's
That
so
means
funny.
so
All the
much.
books that you named, I have those books because I do a lot of driving because my regular job is the Army. So this is my last year doing that. So I do a lot of audiobooks too. And
I
I
love
was
those.
so sitting there thinking, the way you have the parts, because that's how they have their audiobooks. I was like, if she did an audiobook, I would 100% buy this again just so I can hear it in the car because the passion and the enthusiasm is there. And
Oh,
that's what it just draws you in. So, I mean, the word icon is the only thing that I can think of when it comes because I, what haven't you done is the better question,
yeah.
at
What are you going to
that.
do next? Maybe part two to this. I have a soap company, so when I see you, I got to bring you guys some soap. That's a whole nother thing. That
Yes.
make when I create
Mm-hmm.
making soap, I get off the road and I make soap. That's calming. creating is calming, and I don't like a lot of preservatives. I don't eat that way. I mean, I'll have my chocolate and I'll have the crap, but I try to eat as best as I can. But the back to the audiobook, oh yeah, I've already got 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 people to choose from, and I don't know who do I don't know. Do I use the new kid and give him a chance because we're both new at it? Do I do someone who's been doing podcasts? Do I use you guys? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have quite a few people, and I know there's 400 pages in this book, and that's 105,000 words. I don't know if you're familiar. One of our friends, John Karabi, singer, he did an audiobook in California, and he had over 400 pages, and they did his book in 4 days. So that would be like 100 pages a day.
Right.
So if I can read 100 pages a day, we'll be good to go, and then you guys can hear it.
Yes. It's another cha-ching avenue right there.
Yeah, I'm
on.
doing it. I already have the ebook. The ebook's already there, so
Love it.
Yes.
I'll work on it.
You had WrestleCon this past weekend
Oh,
for WrestleMania weekend. That's was a
Honor.
wild event. I got to see some of your posts on social media. It looked like you had a blast. It looked like you had a
Yes.
lot of really good fans coming up. You got to hang out and take some pictures with some other people yourself. What was your experience like there? And
Oh, I love WrestleCon. That was my second one. I didn't
Yeah.
go last year, but I don't think they had. I don't remember about last year, but the year before was in California. This year in Las Vegas, and I love Vegas. And just an honor to be asked, first of all, to sign at a table. So I was in heaven, and I know a lot of those girls and guys who are all, we haven't seen each other, but it's always nice to see people come over to you. And if you have, sometimes I couldn't leave. I really wanted to go to the Busted Open Party, which is XM Radio, because David LaGreca always has me on the show. And I was invited, but D'Lo Brown was sitting next to me, and D'Lo was going. And I'm like, you're going? I go, I'm supposed to go. And I didn't want to leave the table empty with both of us gone. So I stayed. That's just me. I'll go, and I wanted to go so bad, but it was during the same time as WrestleCon. But WrestleCon is, there's just everybody, and there's floors, this floor, this floor, this way. And I really loved the setup. I liked it better than when they had it at the Biltmore in downtown LA. It was too small of rooms. You were getting lost. Here was opened, it was perfect place to have it. Yeah, and then just meeting people and making new friends and new fans.
It has to be nostalgic for you every time you go to Vegas because you gotta. I mean, the changes that were made, from then to now, it's just gotta be
mind blowing. None of those houses were out there, But I go to Vegas usually once a year anyway for work. So I've seen it change. But in the book, we talk about, I think it was Johnny C. and Matt Simber's son, Tony Simber, who was also in Married with Children. He played the announcer. If you were the referee, was he the referee? No, that was Jean LaBelle. He was the announcer, Tony. So we always used to go to the paddle wheel, which is not there. And the paddle wheel had all you can eat crab legs. And for $5, and we used to go down there and get a plate full of
I am not mad at you.
Oh my God, it was so good. They're probably frozen anyway, but we had fun.
It's crab legs. It works for me.
Yeah, it worked.
Jeannie, this has been absolutely fantastic. I appreciate you giving us a little bit of time to come in and chat about Glow and about what you've got going on. This time has flown by too quick.
That's why I'm coming back.
Okay.
That is why we'll come back, and maybe when you guys do one of your shows, I'll come in for a little bit and we'll laugh together we'll talk about some of the stuff going on in the ring.
Yeah.
In those matches.
Don't tease us with a good time.
No, I'm not going to tease you. If I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it.
What would you got anything you want to say to our fans or the folks watching?
I just want to thank everybody who remembers Glow, who support us and all of, online over at the conventions. We love you. You have no idea. And without you, I wouldn't be here in this interview. So thank you.
Oh no, thank you, Toddy. What would you like to say to Miss Jeannie before we tie a bow on things?
Gosh, I just appreciate you so much, and hearing your story, hearing the authenticity of it, being able to relate to parts of your story that have happened in my life is just fantastic. And I say it on our broadcast, Glow was ahead of its time. It was innovators, and some of the things that you all did then, I like to point out to Chris. Sometimes I'm like, hey, they did it first there, and look, they're doing it
Right.
over here,
Right.
which it's timeless. And the
Yeah.
market is definitely still there because people who had never seen Glow before, their first taste was Netflix. Now, we saw it before it came out on Netflix,
Right.
and it's still going. It still has that momentum. And seeing that you were there from the very beginning, that is just awesome. And I am so glad to have met you. And I'm so glad that so many good things happen to you in life because you absolutely deserve it, because I think you are a wonderful person.
Oh, and you too as well. Thank you guys. That means a lot. Mom and dad will love that because lots of rules, very strict growing up. That's that Catholic Italian thing going on there. Woo! You'll read it. You'll read it in the book. You
Uh-huh.
guys, hooray for Hollywood. Etsy or at Amazon. And they have all the links up above if you guys want to get a hold of me or them. But I look forward to seeing our fans and hanging out with you guys on another episode.
Absolutely. Guys, this has been a really fun trip and a really wild ride, a great conversation. The easiest way for you to support is to like, share, and subscribe. And as you can see right above her head, it's been there the entire show. If you want to connect with Hollywood, it's the official Hollywood over on Instagram. It's Glow Hollywood over on X. Keeps it simple, keeps everything in one place over Linktree / official Glow Hollywood. Look her up. You can grab her book, Hooray for Hollywood. All of Glow memorabilia. There's so many links right there at Linktree. Check them out. You will not be disappointed. This has been such a pleasure of ours to have you on the show today. And I cannot wait to sit back down with you and do this all over again and have some laughs along the way. Because I
That'd be
know
just
that the downside about our organic conversations is we just barely scratch the surface. So it always leaves the
Yes.
door open for us to circle around
all
and
the
do some other
time.
stuff.
Absolutely.
I uh,
Thank you
I
for having me.
no, our pleasure. For Tadric Tabar Ramsey, for our guest today, Hollywood, Miss Jeanne Basson. I am Chris Page. We will see you next time.